I want to break it into two pieces because when we talk about this, taking the thought captive, first of all, that's a choice that you make in saying, am I going to let this control me or am I going to take it captive and go before I even react to it? But I think about, again, and whatever it is you're doing to calm yourself down in that state, I tend to have a lot. This is why I love AI image generation, because the crazy things that pop through my head, I can actually turn them into visuals for this. But when I think about it, in many regards, you're going slow to go fast. Because I've heard people when it comes to this, well, we don't have time for that. We got to hurry. And I think about it on like trying to set a scope on a boat in crazy waves. You're sitting here trying to aim while the boat's turning and the waves are throwing you around. If you took the time to say, let's calm the waves,
Yes.
we can aim so much better than sitting trying to flip things around. And so it's one of those, we're trying to go slow to go fast, but you have to fight against that feeling of like, I don't have time for that, and go, this is actually going to give you back more time because you're going to see clearly and you're not going to be distracted with the trying to keep your balance and try and keep things from falling off the edge. You're going to be able to go, okay, we've calmed down first. Now we can do it. And based on what you've said, and my experience mirrors this, we're not talking months and weeks of time.
No.
We're talking minutes, sometimes even seconds, being able to go.
Yes, correct. And what's so fantastic and amazing is that the quality of the conversations in the workplace, the quality of conversations at home, the quality of conversation with friends, so to speak,
Yes.
it goes to a different level. And you are the return on this in ROI, the return on investment
Oh,
of
it's
this is
exponential.
off the charts. That's
It's
right.
all, you can't measure it.
You can't
My
miss
experience has been you cannot measure it.
you
Measure it. I mean,
measure
and
and
and even for your own well-being. So just again, without going too deep into it, but on a personal level, the number of times where, and again, we'll use your example of gym, right? Some hypothetical gym, something happens or is said that you think, the number of times where I've been in that situation and I thought I heard or I thought I understood something, but by settling the waves and going, hang on, that even put me sometimes in a place to, again, think outside of myself and ask a follow up question of, did you mean that?
yes,
Is this what you were intending? And
yes,
to have that person go, oh my word, no, like, no, 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 no. To be able to diffuse what, again, going back to the analogy of like, you might end up spending all this time trying to fix something that really wasn't even there in the first place.
you're so correct. And that's why in the work that I do, I tell people, I said, and you're working with smart people, and everybody's got an ego and everybody wants to look good and all this kind of stuff. And every leader I've ever worked with, I've said, look, we're going to have a great time together, but you're going to have to do a few things that are not optional. And you got to try some of these things, but in you got to learn how in every meeting, all right, you want your mind to be completely clear and blank and you're listening to somebody. And the second thing is when they stop talking, you do not basically go on the offensive and either tell
Yeah.
them why they're wrong or why you don't like this or why you're right. The first thing you do with somebody is what you just said you do. All right. Okay. This is what I think you meant, or this is what I heard. Is that what you meant? You ask a question. You
Yeah.
ask a question before you start pulling out the firepower. All right. And what does that question do? That question says something to the other person. That question says, oh, he or she's really listening and trying to understand what I mean. That feels good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I mean, and that's how people feel good sharing and coming together and having these conversations that are not multi that are not basically like, going out with six guns and all right,
Yeah.
as soon as you're through, I'm going to shoot a bullet at you and I'm going to shoot a bullet at him and I'm going to get a bullet at me, not real bullets, but you know what I'm saying.
Yep. No, I know exactly what you mean.
It's
And again, that helps avoid the anxiety, the fear that like it, we don't even realize sometimes we actually create the waves that are rocking the raft.
that's right. And we're creating the waves that are not only rocking the raft, but we're making it very hard and harder for us to calm those waves
Yeah.
because so many people teed off at us that think we're arrogant and it's only about me, et cetera, that we got to basically, it takes double or triple the time to buy back to get people to believe you.
Yeah, because you've broken the trust of, well, you're saying that's not what it is, yet all of your actions communicate a very different message than that.
And so if you
And now
think,
you've got to build the trust back.
and you think about the world now with the AI and everything, think about how fast things can happen. I mean, you can go online and do your prompts with AI and everything, and you get information that, sometimes is very good. But the key thing there is you got to basically think about that information and really then ask questions. And you are expert at this. Ask more prompts, more questions to try to make sure that that is a good answer. All right. Different
Yes.
types of questions. That's a skill. And so it's that whole thing. If you think about it, when we're using chat and waiting for it to answer, and you don't have to wait too long, waiting for it to answer, all right, it's a little bit like that's the most silent you are, all right,
Yeah.
in creating the question and then reacting the answer. And what you want is that silence, like you're talking about it, that silence that if you can, the more silence inside of yourself, the higher the likelihood you will be successful, you have a happy life, you have good friends, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's calming. It's almost like, okay, smart AI, new world, new game, new me,
Yeah. Well,
new.
and the thing about it is, two things that come to mind as you've said this. First of all, one, um, going back to the it will be it will affect things in a positive way all around. And again, in interpersonal ways, because going back to even relationships, nobody likes to be near that rocking raft when their raft is already rocking as well. And so if you are that sense of peace around them, that again is a positive force for the people around you. So you can have a positive effect on the other people around you. But I just think about this, from an AI standpoint, doing this, and I think this is some of the things that I have had to clarify in the past with folks is it's not denying the the frightening nature of some of these things. It's not denying that it's scary or that you're overwhelmed or that you're uncertain about the future. It doesn't mean you have to pretend that doesn't exist.
Right.
It's about bringing yourself to a place of calm so that you can respond well to that uncertainty rather than reacting.
And it's why I use the words take ownership of you. We're talking about bring your best, learn how to bring your best self to whatever every day, to the table, to the meeting, just to yourself, to your family. It's the journey to best self. And it's and that journey, all right, that journey is transformative as AI will be.
Yes.
And that journey's totally in an individual's realm
Control.
control.
That's,
We
I think that's one of the things that's so encouraging about what we just talked about here is at a time where it feels like everything is out of control
Yes.
and everything is outside of your control, which is only exacerbating the anxiety, the fear, the uncertainty that you're dealing with. This is something that every single person who watches, listens, whatever can go, you have control over this. Like
Yes.
at a time when you feel like everything is out of control, here is something that
Yes.
you can do that you
Yes.
have control over that will actually help you through
Yeah.
this
Yes.
difficult season.